I think that, honestly, you look at D+, I want this team to do well. I'd like to see a second South Korean squad over towards the direct invite to the Grand Finals, just because South Korea has developed and fielded such good talents this year. It's hard enough to have two teams very strong in South Korea, but having three at the same time, that's fantastic.
Absolutely. There's been plenty of strong teams from multiple strong regions. One of them that we expected to be a little bit stronger but is gaining momentum is Team Liquid. 7WG was able to catch up with him during the break. We talked to their coach, so let's hear what they had to say.
Welcome back to a quick interview with the 7WG. This time it's going to be in regards to Team Liquid. I got Coach Knight here next to me. Hodgix was talking about you guys might be changing up some stuff in Erangel. What is the stuff that you guys are going to be changing?
I think we struggle a lot on Erangel because we are lacking good decisions during the process of deciding where should we go, what should we do on this situation right now. So we talked a lot today about slow down a little bit the game, think a little bit ahead of the options we're going to have depending on what Safe Zone is going to do, and then take the best decision possible for this situation.
Right on. Well, I hope you guys do end up making those good decisions, and I hope the Erangels are a lot better today because you need them if you want to be able to make that push on the top three. Quick question. You guys always do good on Miramar. What do you think is the reason that you guys do so good in Miramar?
I think it's because we don't change our game style on Miramar, and the fact that we kind of create this legend that we are so good on Miramar that nothing can go wrong. So our psychological is too strong, and even if we are in a bad situation, we know we can overcome.
Well, hey, thank you, Nine. I appreciate it. I hope you guys do great. Back to you guys.
Really interesting stuff there from Knight. I mean, he's talking about their decision-making process during these games, and they felt it was cluttered during Erangel. Hopefully, they can streamline that, isolate what is going wrong, eliminate it, and come out all the better for it. On 100 points, they are right around the corner from that top three competition, but they're still a long way off. Looking to secure survival stage spot, much more likely.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, you'd need essentially probably 10-point average today. To even have a chance, right? To get over towards that top three. Even that's difficult, then you would have profit then so on top of that. So I think with Team Liquid, yeah, survival stage is definitely where they're looking to go. But from a team that had such legends about it in the past, stories told, the fact they were in 16th place, now able to get back up to 7th with 100 points, I think that's a good jump. It's a good jump. And it was a necessary jump as well to save face more than anything for Team Liquid. They're such a fantastic team. Everyone on that squad is very, very good. And it was surprising for me to see Ayala, Mythic, down towards 16th. These two are some of the most talented players from Brazil that's ever been created. We'll leave Alpha 7 out of the conversation for now. But yeah, it was weird to me seeing them down there. 7th place, though, is a good position to be in. I think they'll be happy with this. In terms of a comeback from Team Liquid, this is a good start. This is a very, very good start. They say they're very good on Miramar, which they are. That might be a nice position to try and secure that position even further. As we look down the tables, it's only 11 points to go down in 12th place right now, even from 100. It's so close on the rankings. Very, very difficult, and that is due to the point sponge at the top of the lobby with that jump from RCB in 6th place to 108 points up to 4MV 125, which goes up to 153 in 1st place. So a 53-point difference between 1st place and 7th. It's a rather large gap.
Things are starting to stretch out. We've had a very, very close lobby over the first 2 days. In the 3rd day, we distinguished the top 5, and there is still that gap, that barrier that sits in that top group, and 4MV starting to lag behind that, dropping that boundary somewhat, but still highly, highly competitive. And we'll see how things start to settle, because we are now into our final 5 matches, our final stretch of Erangels in the mix of it as well. And teams are looking to make their final bids for the top side. Thunder Talk, at the moment, they managed to just about get into the top 3. Well, I say just about, pretty convincingly off that last match with their not only high point scoring game, but the fact that they defeated D+ Kia in that D+ crash. It really didn't go well for the team from South Korea, and now they're really pushing towards the top side, and it's good to see, just like you were talking about with Team Liquid, saving face, them also looking to make their mark, not only save face, but book their tickets too.
Yeah, but Thunder Talks, day 4 is really the day 1 of PEL.
Oh no.
So this is where they can start to make their stand for a 3rd place, or potentially even a 2nd or a 1st. Because again, it's not a big jump up for them. 145 to 153, because both Influence Rage and Brute Force are both tied at the moment. With Influence Rage pipping them to the post in 1st place just because of their chicken dinners on that advantage. DRS making their way in from that eastern side, who have had fairly decent improvement in performance. It was a scary thing to have happen, especially for Team Secret, for 77, be like, look, there's no way that DRS is catching up to any of us, so it's just us 4 fighting out against one another. Out of nowhere, Clothesline comes through from DRS, hits everyone in that bottom 5. And I think now that they're probably they are in the best position to get back up into survival stage at this point. And they're going to definitely do their damn hardest to get towards that position too. After you've given yourself a lifeline in game 1 as well, so much easier to work, right? You know, you give yourself a lifeline in match 5, there's so much pressure on you in that last match. I think it would be impossible for most teams to make that happen without a little bit of luck going your way. So yeah, great for it to happen here on Sandhawk. Circle heads down towards the south side in Primorsk with a lot of water still involved. 4MV make that crossing early on. I think that they're going to struggle, in my personal opinion.
I mean, they don't have a team behind them to worry about this time, so maybe a little bit easier than it was before. COG Osaka are much closer to the middle now, and getting across may be slightly safer for them. Thunder Talk pushing in straight to the middle. This is team sending right on into the beachside front property to see if they can get those sea views claimed, but it's easier said than done, and COG Osaka were there first. Thunder Talk trying to make their way on in. And this crash right now going pretty well. Was that a nade? Did you think it was a smoke? Garnet? Okay, it bobbled on the outside.
The nades
no idea what that was.
Really bad. I'm not gonna lie.
AJ.
2 down for CAG already. I think Thunder Talk has got this fight in the bag, and CAG is falling further into obscurity down towards the bottom of the tables here.
King able to get the flush onto Garnet. Far from flawless on that one, but as a gem of a point for Thunder Talk, as they will solidify themselves further and further into these top 3. Taking this compound, they'll share it, actually. They'll be seemingly, well, I don't want to say happy to, but maybe content is more of an appropriate word here, because COG Osaka, they pull back. They play the far corner.
CAG Osaka do move out, but yeah, for Naoto, it kind of was like, throwing nades, like, They're really doing it.
I don't like that sound. That's horrible.
Yeah, well, that's how it felt. Like the way he tossed that nade at the floor of the building. It's like, where was that going? Who was it aimed at in the first place? It's like into a singular room that I'm pretty sure they'd already covered off. So for CAG Osaka, I mean, coming back to what Hot Shooks was talking about that last game, and we even touched upon it, there was just that moment where you give up a compound that's inside the circle to attempt to bully Void Donkey, who was always like, guys, we're gone. We're already clearing the lobby right now, okay? Yeah, weird one. CAG Osaka may have lost the plot after game 1.
They're getting gapped right now by the rest of the lobby. And they need to try and pick up the pace if they want to get a survival stage spot for Japan. The Vicious, they've managed to get their way on through right down the east side of Quarry and into a pretty important compound as well, Blank, getting the west side of it, that warehouse side, sorry, the east side of it, getting that warehouse under control. Next circle just about to come on through, and we're going down to Primorsk.
I mean, heading far away again. We do have a lot of water still in this one, you know, over towards the southeast side. Still a ton of circle cut out off the back of this. 4MV get themselves over towards the eastern side of the circle. Their job right now is pretty much to just deal with all those teams off towards that eastern side. I think getting a little bit further into this one will be difficult, and they are going to go for it. I don't like the beachhead play. I think it's incredibly dangerous to go for. Thunder Talk's already taking shots. dear me, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, RCB moving in from that west side, wrapping around the edge of Quarry, trying to crash on in towards Voindonkey ID. They have managed to get one down. They've sent Wild a little bit too far towards danger there, and Vexy will launch the nade on forwards, tries to follow it up with a second towards Silas, see if they're able to find more knocks here. That's not going to quite tag on. Razor moving into position. He might have more effect here in this position, and the nade cooking over the top. Silas is there, and he's ready for the fight. The barrel not quite going to hit his mark there. And Razor can reform, fall back a little bit, get some healing done. Vexy needs to keep his teammate safe, but Silas has nades and backup from a teammate.
Voindonkey. I'd like to see them get more points in this game. Razor immediately jumps out of the way as soon as he gets that first aid kit. Very fantastic timing. Stun grenade over the top. Do a little bit of damage, but 2 players for RCB, not looking terribly good for them. In the meantime, it is 4MV taking a fight with Cellcom Digi Alliance. That's over towards Southeast Edge. 1 player down. Similarly, Cellcom have taken 2 knocks.
At the moment, 4MV seemingly in charge of that fight. ThunderTalk looking to try and finally remove CIG Osaka from this compound. They've been sharing it now for the last circle. They want to change that. Jing moving close, King on the outside with AJ. They're up into the wall. They're a little bit reluctant to hop straight on in, but it looks like they're going to go for it now. The breach now in action. Apollo on the outside trying to catch some stragglers if he can. Shut it down from the off angle. Matten on the top floor. Doc, in the meantime, moving on in as Apex goes down. Cellcom Digi Alliance. This is a completely different fight as we're hopping on over to Ferry Pier. Doc and Apex both fall, and it's just Olio left to stand for Cellcom Digi Alliance. They will fall, and now the reses need to come. But there is that player up on the top floor. Apex in danger. Back over to ThunderTalk. Secret are here.
Secret in. And I mean, this is a quick rotate from them. Again, I think that 4MV tried to go for a crossing down this side because they heard that ThunderTalk's taking the fight. They double back, hearing Cellcom Digi Alliance trying to get in towards their backline. Good cleanup from them, and that will sit them in 12th place with DRS, making it into 11th off the back of their chicken dinner. Fantastic stuff to them, but they are heavily weakened over on this western side. Don't see them going too much further. But a 3-way fight at the moment between ThunderTalk, CAG, as well as Team Secret, and the circle.
Wow.
Pretty quickly, pretty sharpish.
I think more teams are going to get stuck in on this one, and I think it might be Team Liquid first. Look at that on the west side, they're making their approach, potentially going for a crash, and chiming in. This compound is so important. It positions up to the north that are helped by this circle, and this one compound. Team Secret, they make their way in. Team Liquid falls short. I think they know that there's too much going on in there right now. There is no room for them. And they'll have to play towards that roadside, towards the beach, and hope that they can get a slice of it later on. 4MV as well, similarly on the southeast side. Losing 1, but moving up on that beach still.
4MV, southeast side right now. 4 eliminations. They did lose that player, John, like you were saying. I think that they still have a chance in this game. I don't know how long this position is going to keep them in, but we'll wait and see. Team Secret able to get ahead of them there. Again, for 4MV, it sort of was like they cut in the line a little bit off that Western Bridge crossing. Team Secret, Stalwart, as well as CAG Osaka. They cut in between. They didn't cut to the front of the line. They made quite a few people angry by just going maybe 2 steps ahead of everyone else. That's caused problems for a lot of squads because it was an unexpected factor, I would say, for them. I think you played as many circles as you should know that 4MV is coming in, but usually they wait a lot longer. This is a bit of a change for them. I'm surprised that Giante has been able to get in towards that western side of the map, but I don't know how long he's going to last there. RCB taking plenty of casualties now, just down to Silas.
On that center side of the circle, and likely that he's going to get pressure put on by the teams from Quarry once they conclude it. RRQ, managed to find the shot over towards Fabian. I thought D plus Kia may have been in the driver's seat of that one, but perhaps not. 77 looking to hold off Influence Rage, but that's a lot of damage pouring on out of the shack, and Limbo Boom holding his nerve. Diego can't quite find it, and there's the off angle to come through. Influence Rage falling at the doorstep. Zadira with the nades to the outside as Lil Boy tries to find something, anything. The rest of his team getting picked on up. He steps in through the kitchen and he gets cooked in turn.
Goodness me. That's Influence Rage down then, and another chance for Brute Force to pick up even more points off the back of this one. And RRQ to continue whatever they're doing today. Seems to be working out. Limbo Boom. Hard times ahead for him. Very low HP. Nades go around the backside. Limbo Boom going between these buildings here. Only thing keeping alive with a lovely Molotov. Cut off that crossing. And another onto Zadira. 77 days are numbered here.
Oh, a nice response finally from Magnum, but it's too little too late. Brute Force have managed to conclude that fight, but Voin Donkey ID have heard this. They're flexing out. They did this on Sandhawk. Now are they going to go for the crash here on towards Brute Force when they're low? Do they know how much damage has been done? I think they've left it a little bit too long now, so going for it may be a little bit too risky, and I think Potato knows that. Razor just holding the perimeter, making sure that they isolate their hilltop on that north side.
John, Voin Donkey, 7th place.
Oh.
They're back on the road again. Actually making it happen here. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. They've jumped up a lot, but the point scoring potential between a lot of these teams very limited, right? It's like 3 points apiece right now. Wow. And it's so funny to see 99, 99, 98, above of 100 from Team Liquid. We're dropping out slowly but surely. What's going on?
Yeah.
I am terrified for some of these squads because it is so terribly close. Nades up towards that top side from D+, over to our RRQ. You have the high ground advantage versus them.
And you're right with... Ooh, big nade. Not quite getting the knock, though. You're right with Voin Donkey, though. I mean, they say a rolling boulder gathers no moss, and that is a nice boulder right now for Voin Donkey. They have managed to keep that momentum going. Not looking dirty. It's all on that western side as well. A decent shout into this game for another high point scorer. RRQ, high ground now. Somehow they've turned this around against D+. They seem to be on the back foot for a while, taking a lot of damage, but getting that opener onto Fabian really changed the dynamics of this fight. The nades are sent back uphill, though, and Snake does go down to it. Osal making his push on up towards it. Chips taking the majority of the damage, but they have to hold the player pushing close. A lot more sent through. Osal still on the warpath. A flex out wide, though, might change that. They need to be switched on, and they'll handle it. 3 players now down for RRQ in the blink of an eye. Osal spray down, but both of them fall. The stalwart chime in with a third-party angle.
Well, they got a lot of limbs off that, though. They got 4 total. It's not enough to see them safe versus Thunder Talks, but, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world to happen to them. Again, I just think that these late-game rotates, they're just scared. They're scared to take aggressive positioning, and that's the difference between them and Thunder Talks, honestly. You see, the crash that they went for from Thunder Talks, they knew they didn't have to fight out versus the team, but they did it anyway because they knew that this spot was going to give them the highest point scoring in this match. So a big trap that a lot of teams fall into on that last day is playing way too safe. And I think in this lobby in particular, with even if you're the top 5 looking to break into top 3, or you are any other team who basically at this point could go home, you can't be scared going into today. I think for some of our other groups, it has been determined by day 3 who's going home and who's staying. But this one, when it gets right down to the line, down to the wire, you better be having your foot right on the line the entire time. You can't be backing away. You just have to make these plays.
That compound just got the delivery of a Lynx AMR as well into the midst of it all. With 3 teams still fending off their corners. No one can go for it just yet, though. We'll have to wait for that to conclude, but I don't think that's going to happen soon, as everybody inside the compounds just decided we get top 3 if we just chill. So let's just chill.
Pretty much. That is exactly what's happening. And why wouldn't you go for something like that? Brute Force do find a knock over towards DRS. And with 6 eliminations and Influence Rage going down early, that sits Brute Force in 1st place. The Donkeys sending nades over towards Stalwart at the moment. This has been a hell of a step up. I don't know what was said yesterday, what kind of tactics that were discussed. But it is working. Something nice. Don't step on that, please.
Oh, Razor gets away from that. The Sancho launches another forwards, and a lot of damage could be in, but no, it's not there. Vexy gets the flush. That one's over the top of the first stage. There, catches it, though. An unfortunate timing on the run back. and launches another one straight underneath him. That was a really nice capitalization from Sanchez. Reads that fullback nicely. Another nade on in, tags Potato, and Voindonkey ID are getting shredded by these nades. A lot of investment from Stalwart to make this one happen. In terms of their utility, they are taking it out of themselves. So maybe from this north side, they'll have a tough time, but perhaps this is their early point scoring opportunity. Maybe not so easy though, as Vexy's there, ready to take that fight. Doesn't have any more first aids, has one thrown over to him by Potato. Gets spotted, however, on the off angle. That is brute force chiming in. Potato on the high ground, it's all up to him.
On to make mash out of Stalwart here, finds one, but Sanchez will pick up the other. Voindonkey will go out, but with 6 eliminations and another good game for them. Although overtaken here by Stalwart, their direct competitors, in rolls brute force. They've smelt the eliminations on side, and they're here to pick up what they would do. Sanchez actually knocks himself with a nade.
Oh.
Nice. Good denial.
There we go. That's what you don't like to see, but it's certainly interesting and may actually contribute quite a lot to these overall standings, Blank, given that first place before this match was a tie. About 1 point is make or break for first or second place. Could be a make or break for third or fourth place in the future, depending on how the future games go. Finally, this compound is starting to pop off. 4MV make their approach. Secret flexing out to try and deal with it as he tries to spray down Baron, but it's not happening for him. Not quite connecting on it. Goes very, very low. Goes for the flush instead, but the nade over the top is there, and Baron's still alive. Finally, a nade finds it, and it's Team Liquid to chime in their central shack. Blank. This is a big position for Team Liquid.
Pick him up right now. Get inside the building. What you can do here. Trangzix, frequently the best squad mate on the side of Team Secret. Those back things off.
He didn't realize a player had got past that Molotov. He thought he'd already blocked off the stairs.
Yeah, but you still run through it. Come on, Trans. At least backpedal. Please. I think Baron's still down.
Yeah,
he is.
Doc's busy. He can't. Sorry, he can't. I need to have Stim first before Res.
7 elims though. It's a good game from them. You can see just a sliver of red from 4B, by the way.
Okay, come on. That's okay. He's up. He's alive. And Doc's immediately like, okay, my teammate is there. I need to go somewhere else.
Split.
I must split. I mean, a good thing he did in this instance.
It's like he knows what's coming.
Yeah.
Hey, Baron, don't heal there. Don't heal there, please. Come to me.
They will simply nade you.
Yeah, I think that the breakout was good from 4MV, but for brute force, this is it. This is where they start to make their breakout. There is a potential of 11 eliminations inside the lobby. It's not going to happen now. Now just down to 10, but with 6 elims already found, and in my opinion, what should be a fairly confirmed chicken dinner for brute force. This will be a big game to break out towards that top side. Thunder Talks, once again, having another strong match into the top 6 is wonderful news. Doc sending nades through at the moment towards the Thunder Talks. Does he have any more in the back pocket?
No, he does. Shing goes down. AJ, that one's a little bit short. Takes the vehicle away, so maybe a little bit there. Is this that loot crate that holds the Lynx AMR? I think it might be. The refresh on the level 3s nonetheless, and the sweep around for brute force trying to take control of the Team Liquid shack. They were able to get a nade knock earlier, and now there's only one player for Team Liquid on the inside. Has to play behind the wall, and the fact that these teams in the compound are fighting against each other is what is keeping him safe for the time being. Chief now has to step back in as teams start to roll out from the compound. The Vicious still alive. Managed to move through this one, and they weren't in there originally, but they have managed to get on through. Looking for the shot. There's that AMR that I was looking for. David, able to take that one on side.
The 3x Lynx. Not seen something like that in a while. Good nade across the top, but there is a shot that will take down Freezer. More nades pouring through from the Vicious. The Vicious just have some good timings and some fortuitous timings as well. I don't think that they've made any crazy approaches in their past games. It's just been good circles, fortunate timings, and then some clutch moments, especially I'm having flashbacks now to Diminor versus Brute Force on a sliver of HP, just makes the call to go for it. And well played to him. I mean, Diminor has been playing phenomenally well for the Vicious.
There it is. That's the nade they've been looking for a while. And now it's a 3v4. The Vicious on up, nearly going down all the way, has a first aid, so will be able to top himself back up
That's what I'm talking about.
a little bit.
Lady Fortune is on the side of the Vicious.
Okay, all right. But they are on the outside of the circle right now, and they are going to have to push forwards. The Shack is still in play, but that's nadeable. Brute Force have zeroed in on that almost perfectly now. I just wonder how many nades they've got left in this scenario. Smokes are blooming. Brute Force not getting too fresh with it. They've heard that AMR. You know, you step too far forwards, you're going down. No two ways about it.
You're essentially waiting for Furious POV, right? You want him to get a good off-angle pick. You play off the back of that. I mean, the setup they've got is fantastic. But do they lose again, is the question. Despite everything. Raze drops his backpack. Stay just out here, hidden away.
Neo's trying to bait these stand-ups, bait these peaks, and get the trades. Furia so ready to just lean out. Diminor is aware of this location and is keeping his eyes firmly on it. It looks like a lot of them are, actually. They might try and isolate Furia here. I don't think they've got any more nades to play with. Certainly not on Reyes, not on David at the back. Diminor maybe, but I think if they had, they would have put them over towards Furia already and forced that peak, but he spots one. Steps out, gets back in healthy, no challenge, and then there comes the flush. That's beautiful value from Furia, leaving them in a 4v2. And at this point, you've got to hope that they can do it.
Freezer,
but Furia
no.
goes down. Freezer into the firing line as well. The Vicious are isolating this fight. Neos and Prepod not in a position to get the refrags. If he goes down now, Freezer just needs to stay alive. The smokes are there. And finally, Neos is in for the fight as well. Reyes has to push forwards, and Brute Force are looking to close it down here. David breaks forwards, but Freezer falls. And now two players versus two. Prepod up onto the top of the shack, gets the high ground. Reyes cannot stand it. And that is what they were looking for. It gets hairy, but Brute Force pull it back under control, and EMEA back on top.
You see, Freezer looks a little bit disappointed with himself there, and he should do, because the boogie play, although I respect that he wants to get the rundowns, they had essentially a one game. I don't think that he had to move out in the boogie. They had a 4v2, a good lineup. They just have to play at the back of Furia. An interesting one. Still, they get the win. It's a fantastic game from them on that northwest side, the way they moved down. And Prepod, yes, you are a good player, my dude.
Fantastic stuff from Brute Force, taking a chicken dinner. And in that game blank, I don't know if you caught it, but DRS, they're in 11th place as well.
Well, Brute Force, they have shown up here today wanting to claim that first place position and hold it down the rest of the day here and get their easy ticket in over to the UK. Jay Scampin joined by Hot Jukes and Maxman here in Brute Force.
What up?
I thought that was a really cool way they actually played out that match as well, going in from Primorsk and then also just doing like a delayed push out of Primorsk.
Yeah, Jason, we were looking this entire game. They were so adamant on playing these splits. And no, we've been criticizing Dog for going for these splits and being too aggressive. No, a good split is when you get good information off the back of it and you don't commit to a fight when you're not ready for that engagement. And we have seen very little mistakes happening, Hot Tricks, this game from Brute Force on these splits. Sure, maybe sending it with a buggy, as Blank was saying, was a bit risky. But their Western splits to control and just obliterate everyone on the West was so well executed that it easily gave them access to an opportunity to win this match. Absolute clinic, this game.
Dude, look at the conversion rate from Neos there. 7 eliminations, 600 damage. And then on the other side, you got Furia with 5 lives, double the damage, 1,000. That is wild. I mean, the splits are ridiculous. You saw them in Primorsk, and they had a literally full-fledged split across the whole city. I mean, I haven't seen that in a zone like this since I can remember, honestly. They tried to hold that whole city by themselves, but yeah, it was just gathering intel, getting that information, trying to see if a squad would move up. And that's the great thing about that side of the map is that particular city, there's so many different ways where you can just kind of sneak your way through and just try to regroup with your team. So, I mean, Brute Force, once they got that zone shift, they took the hill, and it was just a dominant victory for them. Honestly, this chicken dinner here, I think that locks them in for top 3. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think this is going to be the nail in the coffin for their position in top 3 and normally overtake and influence Rage. But I do want to highlight, though, some people might be looking at the stats like, oh, Neos, Prepod, Furia, they were carrying this game. Freezer did nothing. No. Sure, Freezer, elimination-wise, maybe wasn't that present, but he was serving as a strong anchor point for his team every single circle shift. He was making sure his team had a spot to rotate into while they were trying to just sweep Western teams like your Influence Rage, like your 77s, like your Boyne at some point. He was important.
It's the 77 in particular, Max, I think that you kind of point out where we're watching. Like, obviously, they had a couple of knocks from that third party they pulled off, and he was just away from his team trying to scout out, see where can we rotate to next off the back of this fight. And one thing for Brute Force that I think we saw in this match that we didn't really see too much in the past was when we looked back at the limb steals, like stolen eliminations. Brute Force were up there in total limbs with like your influence rages around like 65, but they had a 9% stolen elim ratio. Here, they were constantly looking for third parties this season because they had 77, then eventually they third partied onto the rest of like Stalwart versus Boyne, picking up a couple eliminations onto Stalwart and then just kind of onto Boyne and then full send it into that fight as well. I feel like they kind of changed their style a little bit with the edge play and more being third party oriented.
They were looking to overtake Influence Rage, Jason, for so long. They're like, if we can't beat them, join them. Just do the steal eliminations every single game. No, their third parties were on point. They third partied the initial fight, then I think it was DRS versus 77. Then you had Boyne fighting Oracle on the northern side, another third party. Like, it was an absolute third party fiesta this game for Brute Force. And again, it's down to the scouting because of those splits that were happening, Hot Streaks, that it made it possible in the first place. So Brute Force, again, a team going in this group that was like top 3 doesn't seem too achievable. Their playstyle is so damn consistent, man. And these splits at the end, again, were so good that at top 3, hell yeah, I'm super deserving right now.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean, 23 points. I mean, that has definitely got to be it for them, right? They should easily be able to make it into the finals. And I love their playstyle when it comes to that teamwork, man. You know, they usually, when they do a 3-1 split, they do it at the right time perfectly, right? They're able to cover each other's angles and be able to just overwhelm these squads one by one. And since they're on top, man, it's going to be just so much easier after this, right? Because they have all the confidence in the world. They have such a big point gap here that they can afford to still make a few mistakes. You don't want to get a little bit too sloppy, too overconfident for sure. But I mean, if they continue to play like this, I mean, yeah, they're definitely going to be on top of this group for sure.
When you see Brute Force on the front page, you don't see Influence Rage there. That's 21 points that they were able to get more than the team who was ranked first place going into this game. But as we saw, there was just the tiebreaker of Chicken Dinner. So this should be a 21-point lead now for Brute Force over Influence Rage, not to mention all the other teams down below them here. But again, if you look at that leaderboard, like D+, unfortunately not having another good game. Who else here towards the bottom? We had DRS again, not having a great game. Alliance, you know, Kagasaka. These are teams who are on the brink of being sent home. RRQ in there was with only 2 points. You have to kind of wonder, like, are these bottom teams ever going to have that standout game? And to be perfectly honest with you two, you only need one game today to stand out like that to make top 11 with how this kind of playing out.
So true. I mean, you really only need that one big game, and it's kind of crazy because the urgency is going to definitely have to be here now. Let's take a look at the overalls, and you can see, oh boy, things are starting to get spicy here. And I'm looking at the bottom of it because these are the teams that I want to see, you know, actually try to make a fight for that top 3. And we were kind of talking about this in the background, Max, man, when it comes to like Team Liquid. This is a big gap now. I mean, a solid one. It's almost 50 points, right? 48 total.
Yeah, I think
I don't think just playing center and hoping for the best is good enough. Like, the only way you're gonna cross a gap like that is with eliminations. So you gotta hunt down squads, right?
I mean, when they were in the shed, I understood why they were not going for eliminations because it's just not quite possible at that point. But maybe instead of going for the center position and trying to play passive, you can maybe adopt a more edge sweeping playstyle. That for sure. But the moment they were in the shed, it was rough. But there you go, DRS did. Is that the first time they pushed out of bottom 5? It feels like it.
I think so. Yeah.
Damn. I mean, that's a good change, but we need to still see some more. DRS, you got 1 point in this game. It was lucky because you were just 1 point behind, but it's not going to cut it. We need more than 1 point, DRS, and you might make it to the survival stage.
If Secret get a chicken dinner, just off, it was 0 eliminations, they're going to pass DRS, and they're in last place.
That's crazy.
That's kind of, again, how close it is. And yeah, DRS, you might be top 11 right now, but you're not safe whatsoever. There's even a couple teams above you that I would say are not safe. And we're obviously going to have to see how things play out here. I do kind of want to bring it back to something we saw between, it's technically, I guess, 3 teams. It was Kagasaka, Thundertalk, and then Team Secret eventually, as we were towards Fairy Pier in one of these compounds. I was just curious what your thoughts on how they kind of played things out here, because we were kind of hoping that they would somewhat share the compound instead of actually looking for the fights, realizing that this is a really good place to play from as the zone progresses.
We've been talking a lot, Jason, about how third parties in this group, like we had the group of center play in Group Yellow, Red it was Edge, and now it's group of third parties, this group, it feels like. And I have to highlight Team Secret. Like, you have Thundertalk Gaming fighting versus CAG Osaka over in that compound that you mentioned, Jason. Team Secret, like, okay, we're struggling to find a good position in the circle. We have to just send it, and if we're lucky, we get control of a great central position in the circle, and we can get a few eliminations here and there. Sure, Secret did not end up making it into the podium scenario of this game, but the third party was super, super important for Secret to just enable them to maybe have the opportunity to reach that late game. So Team Secret still want to be a bit careful because they can be a threat in this lobby.
Yeah, I'll give it up to you, honestly, the Vicious. I think the Vicious rotation was even more impressive. These guys rotated to the center so late, but they made it, and that's the risks you have to take when you're on the so low on the leaderboards. You got to clutch it up here.
All right, we're going to find out if teams can clutch it up yet again as we head into our second airing go of the day with John Allen and Blink.
Thank you very much to the guys over on the desk. We're going to be heading on in to match number 21. We are into the closing moments now. From the shooting range down to Sosnovka, the plane path going down the middle of the island will be pretty chill. All the teams will have access to their favored drop spots. Should be nice and easy for them. But where will the circle go? That remains to be seen.
They gotta clutch it up, and that is the story of the game here so far. Because there has been a lot of teams that do need to get themselves up towards the top of the tables, but more so than ever, it is incredibly difficult to make that happen, just because of how close a lot of these teams are. From the back of one game to the next, it can be a completely different set of teams towards 7th, 8th, and 9th at the moment. It's terrifying. It's a terrifying place to be in going forward. And I think that, you know, you have this horrible sense of, do we play safe or do we play aggressive? And how do we balance that? Because it truly is a balancing act right now of where you're getting your points from. Do you take risks? Because a risk could end your tournament life right now. This is why I respect Void Donkey so much for what they're doing at the moment, because it is a very, very tough thing to go for in these closing moments of being like, we might not have had the best tournament. We might have looked like the weakest coming into day one. However, now we've got to show our not so sharp fangs.
That's right. North Circle, blank. Of course it is. Wouldn't have it any other way. We are going back up towards the north side of the river, most likely, and seeing what they could do. Team Liquid sent a wide split out with Ayala actually in Severny. Nobody joining him just yet, but that may change given how the circle sits. And the question for me is, how quickly will Team Liquid get there? Because Brute Force, it's not unlikely that they just crash straight into Severny as well. Hopefully Ayala's ready for it.
Yeah, and I think that you're right. And Brute Force have done this multiple times in the past over at EMEA, where they have gone for a Severny drop, though 9 times out of 10 they have lost on a Severny drop. I will like to remind people of that. So we'll see what happens. But versus just one player, entirely doable. Entirely doable. And this is an aggressive split from Team Liquid, which I think could come back to bite them, like you're saying, John, as Prepod's already making his way on over. Might send to the eastern side of Severny, which would be the smartest choice, which is what he's going for here right now, stopping in the shop. Ayala's in trouble.
He is. There is a regroup from 2 of the Team Liquid players, and of course, Brute Force just grabbed vehicles and went there straight away, which means they don't have loot on board. Prepod is getting a little bit more decked out now, though. Has got that M4 and that DBS, so can go for the fight, but doesn't have the helmet, doesn't have everything that he may want in these early engagements. Brute Force have now fully surrounded, however, onto this location. Team Liquid, looks like we might have this early fight. We'll see if, I wouldn't quite call it a hot drop, but a chosen engagement here on the first rotate set for both Team Liquid and Brute Force. Ayala had a vehicle, could have rotated out back to the west to try and play that angle. Brute Force, they started dropping around those South George vehicles, and they have rotated into this one too. So this is an optional fight that both teams have looked to go for.
These things like a side mission right now.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm seeing.
I mean, for Severny, it's a great starting point for this particular circle indeed. Again, like to remind everyone, Brute Force has lost nearly every single one of their hot drops and fights in Severny. I don't know if they've been doing some research, some planning.
I think
Good choice. Good choice.
The research has concluded if we don't fight, we don't lose, which in this case may be quite helpful. Other fights, sure, great, excellent at those. For some reason, Severny, not so fun.
Very, very bad.
Really terrible.
So I respect that from Brute Force. Yeah, you know, if I can't do a handstand, I'm not going to try and do a handstand. If they can't fight Severny, they're not going to try and fight Severny.
That's fair.
I think it's the smart decisions to go for. And there is compounds, there is loot over towards that northeast side as well. And with Brute Force being in first place, that's sort of a decision where it's like, oh, we're 20 points ahead. We just need to profit. It would be really bad, guys, wouldn't it, if we all died in the first 2 minutes of the game here in Severny. So yeah, I like that.
Keep 4 alive. I think 4 alive. Yeah, gotta go for that this time around.
It's a good thing.
Oh yeah,
It's a tough decision to make though a lot of times, really, because it's a case of swallowing your pride a lot. I mean, like, we are just rubbish in Severny.
Yeah.
So I think we just have to give it up at this point. And that's fair enough. So for Brute Force to be able to get up towards first place, I think there has been a lot of swallowing of their pride. And I think that they learn far quicker than some of the other teams in this lobby that this isn't actually that easy. We're going to have to play a little bit more smart here. As it has been a super chaotic lobby. I think, again, I said it yesterday, but if you went back and watched Group Red and Group Yellow, the organization of the rotates in terms of reading into where people are playing, it was far cleaner than Group Green has been so far, which means there's a lot more chaos to be had. Okay, Cat pulls himself out of the game, fair enough. But because there is more chaos to be had, you have to be disciplined. And I think that Brute Force learned that quickly on day 2, whereas 4MV wasn't employing that until day 3, which is why they're currently sat in 5th place, but they have improved.
Yeah, they have been trying to keep lockstep with this top pack, and they're 20 points behind now, 3rd place, which is starting to get a little bit too far flung. A big game necessary to keep them in the running. Thunder Talk, though, maybe getting cut down on their approach. They're moving in from the southeast side. Stalwart have got the stretched line out from Lipovka. Thunder Talk going to move up past the Heaven compound. Looks like they're a little bit safer now, but the rest of the team yet to make their way through as well. And Secret are still in the way over towards Yasnaya. So a lot of conflict potentially still on the road for Thunder Talk.
Yeah, with Stalwart, like I say, Team Secret ahead of them. There are no strangers to rough fights, though, so I think for Thunder Talks might not go horribly for them. Meantime, D+ did make their rotate over towards that northern side. There's a strong rotate. Whether or not they can capitalize. We're back. Slight technical difficulties, but we're back again.
We're back in.
And we're back just in time for the 3-2-1 circle shift.
Hey, there we go.
That's all the way over towards that northwest side. Team Liquid, happy with this one. Brute Force obviously don't get Severny, but they're fairly cemented over towards that eastern edge. Thunder Talks might be a problem for them as they are rotating in fast and they're not quite regrouped just yet. You're hoping that the cross angle here from Brute Force might seem a little bit happier. This is dangerous though for Brute Force. I don't think rotating in right now is the best decision. I think you need to be more concerned over towards that northeast.
Another such utterances. RRQ scouting out from the south side, trying to figure out where in the middle of this circle is going to play well. There's that ridge out to the west of Severny. There's going to be a pretty pivotal location, I imagine. Currently, I think that's 77 who have the closest position to it. Influence Rage, actually, should be sat lining that one. So it'll be interesting to see if they can leverage this game and chase down Brute Force, because they're all on that northern side as Brute Force slot in above Severny now.
Maybe fair enough to them. I think they scouted this out earlier, right? They didn't see anyone playing towards this location, so they can happily get themselves back in. That's not Freezer.
Huh, yeah, you're right. That's a different guy entirely.
That has happened a few times, to be fair. But I would like to remind everyone that's not Freezer.
Yeah. Freezer's
People's down.
Different guy.
Oh, they just can't play Severny.
It's really unfortunate. And for Prepod, it's going to be a while before he gets rezzed. I'm expecting maybe 20 to 30 seconds, which means that they don't have the influence over Severny that they might like. The good thing is that Team Liquid and 77, they're playing on the borders. They're not pushing through this one. And I don't think that they very likely ever would until the next circle shift, and it would have to shift on towards Severny, right? That's when you would start to think about going for it. But for 77, what's the point of going across that road when you know you're going to be so open to Team Liquid? They have incredible sightlines down that road crossing and straight into a fight that you don't know if you can win, right? Against Brute Force, and maybe Brute Force are lackluster in their Severny fights, but in general, you still don't want to be fighting them in this scenario. So I think for now, we'll see peace in Severny on the northern side.
It's a similar situation to what we saw from that last game where you had Thunder Talk, CAG, and 4MV all in the same location, just because they knew that likely if they just chilled out there, they were going to get a top 5 easily, which they did come towards the end of the game. So for Brute Force, 77, as well as Team Liquid, they're all just happy to sit this one out, essentially, for the remainder of the game, or at least until the circle shifts away from Severny. I don't think it's going to do that anytime soon, at least, unless it is an absolute hard shift over towards the west. But we'll wait and see. Hasn't happened yet. Yes, it has. It is a hard shift up towards the west.
That is...
Oh, dear me.
Oh, dear. We are going over to the shooting range hills, and that is going to be messy. DRS on the east side pushing in through and past Stalwart, hopefully, as they find Critter, get that spraying out. Sleepy seals the deal on it. And they will have to march quite a way past Severny. Try and move around either side. Severny is still in this circle blank, so they can chill out for a little while longer. But in go Thundertalk, trying to move on through. They're going straight for the bunker as well on the north side of the shooting range. But Voin Donkey Idea already here. 2 of them are down. RCB have that third-party angle, and Thundertalk may have just bitten off way too much. There's no way they could chew it. They go down in third place. D plus Kia, 4MV. They've got an opening.
Go on, you donkeys. This is what I want to see. This is perfect stuff. Incredible spray downs over as well as Thunder Talks. Again, aggressive in nature are the Thunder Talks in terms of taking position. But the donkeys, they're feeling themselves. They're in 7th place. Just 4 more points away from hitting 6th. What an incredible comeback it has been from Voin Donkey. Final throws of the tournament as well. Either Defi was very encouraging last night, or really had a lot of things to say, quite loudly, directed at them.
Well, whatever he's done, it's working. More of that, please. 77 now. Actually, Brute Force initiating this fight. They flexed out towards 77. There's that crossfire as well coming on through. Neos spots Zadira, gets that immediate flush as well. Prepod is down, but Neos is more preoccupied with 77 on this angle. Frieza and Furia moving out this way. I mean, they know that at some point they're going to have to go for this fight. The question is always timing on the scenario, but a big nade over through the rooftop for Shifu finds Frieza. They thought they had it, but perhaps the clock was just a little bit too fast here for Brute Force. They pulled the trigger too soon. In go the shots. Furia has to step out. See you later. He's out of there. Not so long, though, because Magnum puts him under arrest.
That's a terrifying thing to come into. Just Limbo Boom going through the building, spraying the S12K. Reasonable approach as well. Neos sending the smokes over, but I think it's too little too late for Brute Force here. That player's likely not getting across.
I mean, he's completely open on the roadside right now. Fortunately, Team Liquid have left the south of Severny. I feel like Fury has been spotted. I'm not too sure from where or how he's making this, but no. Okay, Shifu puts him out of his misery. I was feeling it a little bit there. I was getting excited. I thought we might see him back, but no. Brute Force down to 2. They took a fight in Severny and lost. Who'd have guessed? RCB on the edge of that shooting range. Team Liquid as well, moving out of the south side of Severny. And D plus Kia for MV. The two teams looking to push their way up, take Thundertalk out of the top 3.
It's an amusing fight, actually, for Brute Force. And a sad set of circles, really, going into stage 4. With it shifting over towards the western side, then edging back down towards the south. These teams could have easily played Severny a lot more safe, considering it comes back over towards them. But Team Liquid, they take their opportunity to head down towards that south side. They have a strong spot to play in. RRQ taking shots back and forth between them and RCB, but Razor, once again, rattling off shots over towards RCB.
Donkey still on this northwest side. Fighting from this bunker position can be really, really tricky, but it seems like they're handling it. That pressure not quite getting to them just yet. We'll see if that continues. Sia Giosaka are trying to flank out on the west side, so could prove to be troublesome. You've got Influence Rage as well, pushing in from that north edge. So a lot to contend with here into the next circle. And a difficult move ahead of them if they have to leave this position. Brute Force, they leave Severny, and they're into the shack. It's survival for them.
Yeah, it's the only real play here for them. They just need to get a consistent game and hope that Influence Rage doesn't go crazy on this match, but they are up towards that northwest side. They're going to struggle to get in along that ridge side. 4MB currently battling off against Cellcom Digi Alliance. Initial nade from the one and only Doc himself. It's Reefus. Creates a little tune with the shots. Apex suddenly trying to get stuff done. Brute Force still going though, taking shots over towards Team Secret. That's Jaiki down. Secret will explode the vehicle over towards DRS, who are on a 2-2 split.
Reefus looking for that spray, but not still able to connect it. On the south side, 4MV just holding the top of this hillside, and I mean, it will give them a lot of strength. Cellcom Digi Alliance trying to move on that east side. CJ Osaka out on the west. DRS, they are suffering right now a little bit on the east side, but they managed to transition down towards the south. They still have Sleepy all the way up by Severny. So they have got a wide 2-2 split with Gianti down in the blue zone pushing. Not going to be res, so DRS on 3.
DRS down to 2 players on that south side with Killer, an example. Sleepy attempting to make his way in. Right now not doing too bad at all, fighting a nade over towards Transix. So the solo from DRS on that north side still staying alive. Even taking shots over towards the players who are rotating in towards the shack. And he knows it's smoked off now. Not likely the line of sight's going to be open to him. Transix does get stolen away by Team Liquid. Down towards this southern edge, as we said before. Influence Rage playing this game out nice and slow on that north side. Ooh, that's a nice nade. Just goes slightly short, though.
They're still doing damage, and I imagine they got 1 or 2 more left to play with as well. D plus Kia on the east side. They're in that compound. They're in the buildings. Have to transition away, though, most likely in the next circle. And it will be now, because the shift goes out to the west. 4MV still in a really important position. But they do have a better shot at this one than D plus Kia, I think.
Yeah, for D+, this is where they need to pull out the big boy guns, because realistically, so far for D+, it has been such shy gameplay from them. The rotates have been fine. They've been nice. We discussed this beforehand. However, it's that mid game where they're struggling a lot. And it's a similar problem we saw from Mir and Sejong, where from mid to late game, they are good to get towards that position. Capitalizing on that position, though, is a completely different story. With Nolbu having to back things off, get the first aid kit through, see what D+ can get done here, because it has been a real fall from grace for them.
Stalwart have a roll up on the back lines to worry about. Cellcom Digi Alliance move into position, up on the high ground, over the ridgeline. They've got oversight on this fight with Stalwart and D+ from this position, but they need to be worried about 4MV on their western flank. So a little bit of a risk taken, and I think 4MV are moving into position to third party this engagement as well. You can see a vehicle moving around there in the background on the high, and there's beautiful nades coming through from Cellcom Digi Alliance. They want to close this one down fast and regroup to try and put pressure back over towards the high ground.
There's a hell of a barrage there over towards Stalwart. I'm surprised both those players didn't go down. It's an unfortunate bounce off the buggy is that nade, which keeps the one player from Team Secret still alive here. Break does get knocked. That's over on the south side. North side, sorry, versus Team Secret, as Soaz is getting taken out. So D+ currently taking two fights at the same time.
Holding them off fairly effectively, but it's 4MV who is making Cellcom Digi Alliance question themselves repeatedly. You see them going up, going down, going all around, and right now they're on the spin, and all four of them are still alive, but taking Stalwart out first is a good opener. However, Kaluk goes down, and he is going to potentially have some trouble with Nolbu. Fortunately, there is that refrag. D+ Kia going to move on out. A forward rollout for D+ Kia gives them an opening to leave their position, and that may be what they're looking for. They give up a player, but they take a lot of knocks over towards Cellcom Digi Alliance, and they're going to push 4MV back with a rollout on chips.
Come on, you have to hit these shots here. Where's the rest of the squad? In comes Osal. Looking to take shots around the side. Jimmy hopping in and out of the vehicle. Finally, it's done. 5 eliminations, and Nolbu leads the charge on that one. And although they lose Nolbu there, they desperately needed him to make that call, because D+ has been falling further and further behind in terms of do we or do we not go for these aggressive plays. And I think Nolbu realizes in the third game of the day here, someone's got to make that initiation, right? Someone's got to take the call. Someone's got to take leadership, and it would be Nolbu in that case. Picks himself up 3 eliminations off the back of that one as well, and now D+ have to follow in his footsteps.
Brute Force at the top spot, looking to try and stop Influence Rage and challenge for it on that northern edge. We'll see if they can keep that top spot in the contest. D+ Kia gonna have that northern side area, but it is Influence Rage to go down first. Brute Force taking that one down, or well, rather outlasting that one on the northern side. And they will just have to try and keep it up for the next game, because yeah, Influence Rage is so a 4MP rank.
You know, for Thunder Talks, them going out early, great opportunity now for D+ as they head over towards Team Liquid. This would be an awesome position to take control of. A lot of players low. There's still one on the high ground. Is there a knock there coming through? Yes, Fabian's finding Cardozin. That's a fantastic pickup for D+. Now they can control Team Liquid, who are down below. This was a good game for Team Liquid as well, up to 7 eliminations, 77 on 7 eliminations themselves. But it is Voin Donkey still going.
On the far side near the shooting range, the nades launched on forwards, the parabolas permeating the shell. The Seiji Osaka have tried to establish. It's not going to go well for them. And Voin Donkey, they're up to 7 elims blank. This is a team revitalized, and you love to see it. Coming into today, 1 game, you could chalk that up to luck. 2 games, you could chalk that up to, I don't know, double luck, but 3 games in a row, this is something special. A really strong performance coming through from Indonesia. And they will be happy with this one so far at the start of the day. Let's hope that they can carry this momentum forwards. D+ Kia, though, they've still got Team Liquid to handle. They've only got 2 players on the outside. The hop out wide, Ayala picked up, but it's going pear-shaped here. Fabian, the only one to stand for them. And D+ Kia, gonna lose players. He's not in position. The nade over the top doesn't quite clap. where he's looking for it. Fabian has to worry. I think he's just going to have to play on as a solo. Team Liquid may be able to get the reses, but they're down. Oh, disaster strikes as Team Liquid resurge from underneath.
Nice job from Team Liquid. They do lose another player, but 4MV picking up a good amount of eliminations, 2 on top of it, but securing their spot on this eastern side is very big news for them. Goodness me. I mean, for Voin Donkey, though, that's the team that I'm most curious about right now, of 8 eliminations so far. So that's what they needed to reach RCB's scoreline from that last game. They've already done it, but RCB were able to get 2 eliminations so far, so still a little bit ahead, but what a comeback from the Voin Donkeys.
Fantastic, formidable displays so far today. Over to 77 now, they will turn their attention. Smoke's going to give them a little bit of cover from that south side, and against RCB, against the last player from Brute Force as well. This is good news. And 4MV continue to put pressure on this east side. I think 4MV right now in the position to do the most damage to the tables. But the top 5 keeping lockstep with one another has got to be intimidating. How much further can 4MV go to keep themselves in that race?
RMV, eastern side now. This is a big chance for Orangle, where they picked up the majority of their big points in the past. Now look to do it again here. 77 with those 7 eliminations. Get themselves to 12th place, though. Is this 77 comeback, John?
I mean, it's so volatile. It's so closely fought at the bottom of the tables here as well. It's going to make things tough. 4MV finally looking to slow down the Donkeys. Not going fully down just yet, but starting to bleed. The heal comes through from Potato. The flush to one of their players, though. They will only have 3 left.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, for the Voin Donkeys, it has been such an uptick in performance. The counts rising from the coffers.
Pre-pod. He's just biding his time. I mean, 4MV will take shots at him as soon as he stands up, but has Loxy? Loxy hasn't seen it. There's no way he's seen it. There's the heal. This buggy might just roll over him. Oh, by mistake, no! Just misses. Nearly clips him, and Loxy, no way! No way! And this is a free point for Prepod. The question, and he turns around immediately. That's discipline. That's just waiting for the teammate behind him. He doesn't know if he's made it to the tree, if he's drawn short, or if he's up to the ridgeline, but now his position is known. Gets an extra point for Brute Force, finishes in 5th. That's probably as valuable as that position was going to get for them. So a nice timing on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's decent stuff there. Nade goes through over towards KYMYZ. Getting good at it now. Potato will drop out, but I think for the counts, they're honestly quite happy with this. If they get a 3rd place off the back of this game, it is a very, very good result.
4MV looking to try and close this one out, put themselves back towards those top 3 spots. 2-2 split right now around this circle. 77 have the middle, but playing on with 2. Voin Donkey ID. Fighting from the outskirts. The high ground for 4MV, really, really difficult for them to handle. Will get pushed off, though, by the blue zone fairly soon. So they're just waiting, biding their time before 4MV have to move as well.
Reefus backing it up a little bit. Excited to see how this one will conclude, because it really does have a big impact on the point standings, especially for the Voin Donkeys, who come in today charging, looking incredibly strong. So pleased with them as well. And I mean, I love a team on the last day who is down their luck and just says, look, let's just go for it. Let's just take this as far as we can go. And it has been with skill as well. You can tell these guys have been going home after every tournament day and been like, what can we change? What can we improve on? What can we do better? And they're showing that right now during these games.
fought through the worst of it, but it might be too much to make this next push. They need to get up to the wall, but 77 are in the way. I think that Voindonkey do go down here with 4MV in massive crossfire positions, but maybe they can prove me wrong and land some long-range pickoffs over towards the high ground. Because 4MV have crawled forwards, they've gotten to the next set of ridge lines. It's going to allow them a little bit more power here to oversee this entire approach. 77, that extra force that's just stopping them from getting any further in this game.
Nade over the top. Last circle now, John. Voindonkey probably the next to go. Good shots from Reefers with this overground. Shifu, if they go out first, it's a second place for the Donkeys. What a result for them. The 4MV with 8 eliminations might just be finding that chicken dinner that they've been hounding after for so long.
They're looking for more as well. The nade over the top. 4MV looking to put themselves back into the top 3. And with the roll over the top, the DBS shutdown, that is what they will find. A great game for 4MV. Fantastic display from Voindonkey ID. And 2 teams to finish it out. Both of them will be happy with the result in match 21.
4MV been so close multiple times, but there it is. And it's a much better play from them. Very disciplined over towards the eastern side. They've all calmed it down. You can definitely tell from looking at their faces here. There was a couple of sighs coming through being like, finally, we've made it work. And I think that they might have just figured things out, but is it too late for them?
Is there enough time? Do they have the gas left in the tank? They are in the conversation, but we have to wait for the conclusion. To do that, we are going back over to the desk.
Yeah, discipline's a good word for it. I know, Max, you're kind of not happy with the win out of 4MV, but not necessarily about them winning, but more about other teams giving these high ground positions away to 4MV to take for free.
Yeah, I was hyping myself up, Jason, like, oh, there's going to be this massive fight in the southern side of the map. There's going to be all the teams fighting for the high ground control. And it didn't happen, like, at all. Like, CAG just like, oh, no, we're just going to play south of shooting range. We're just going to play in the dip and then just try and survive. Like, we'll try and get a few placement points. And then on the East, Alliance try and fight a third party on DRS and Stalwart, which I don't dislike, but then they just completely give up on the whole idea of playing high ground. And 4MV, well, you're giving us the best position in this circle, Hot Jukes, for free. So guess what? We're just going to pop off.
That's right. They said, nah, I'd win, dude. And they did. Beautiful done. I mean, like, Doc, especially 3 eliminations, 700 damage, leading the charge when it comes to damage-wise. But Reefus getting that extra elimination on board. I mean, this is a win that they so desperately needed. Let's be real, guys, right? Like, there's starting to be a little bit of a gap, right, between that 3rd and 4th place position. So 4MV, I mean, with this chicken dinner, they had to have cleared it easily, right, Jason?
I think that match was a sign, as Blink did say, about their discipline, and I think the realization that we can't keep playing like we were if we want to make top 3 and get straight through the grand finals. I think it's really important to see them be able to, wrangle in Doc there, as you were saying, Max. It looks like they got an EpiPen because it wasn't allergic to his own team. I think it's a good sign for them, and I think it's a sign of maturity as well, and the realization that, like, we need to qualify now. Like, we need to stop messing around. We need to actually take fights that are sensible, play together, not engage in anything we possibly see around the battlefield. And I kind of like it. It wasn't as impressive as, like, the 32-point chicken dinner we had on day 1, but I think it's a mature chicken dinner out of them.
Oh, definitely. I think they were looking back, Hot Jukes, on the previous game of Brute Force and like, well, that's how you split. Oh, that's really good, actually. We'll do some of that. And it worked out. But no, there's definitely a lot more respect coming out from 4MV. They are not taking these big off angles and engaging fight. Wait, Mythic with a revolver?
Dude,
What?
revolver through the
I didn't even
smoke.
catch that.
Was so sick.
Oh, okay. Well, what was I saying?
Let's
that was
go.
cool.
Who cares?
Okay.
Right? That was badass. That was awesome, dude. I mean, Team Liquid did make some noise in this match, but again, not the game that they really desperately need if they want to make it into the finals. When it comes to 4MV, though, remember when I said, guys, I was like, I gave them 5 matches to play Reckless, right? That ended yesterday. I'm glad to see that they finally... Oh, by the way, before I even get to that was ridiculous from Breepod. That buggy was so dang close he could smell the tires, Max.
I don't know how how I would feel during that moment, but
Oh, I know. how
I
you
would be
feel.
sweating bullets at that point. But yeah, Trigger discipline. It worked out. He got himself the extra elimination. Sure, he doesn't get really too many placement points off the back of that, but those are the kind of moments where if you wait long enough, you might have the perfect lineup where you can spray, transfer, and get two. But unfortunately, one did get in the buggy and rolled away. But man, I would have taken that shot 30 seconds ago. Like,
Max.
he was so respectful. Wow.
You would have, if you were in that position, you would have pre-podded yourself for sure.
Yeah.
When
Oh,
that buggy drove right by your head.
That chair was gone.
21 points for 4MV here. Voing Donkey as well, getting themselves 14 and 77. You know, we've been talking about them for such a long time. Max saying, like, you expect them to get a chicken dinner. 12 points in this last match. It's not enough to quite breach into top 11, but it's the start.
It's definitely a good start. I'm especially happy, Jason, with the elimination front of things. They understood super early, oh, we had to circle so many times in this PMGC. We're just going to hold the western edge of Severny. Whoever goes in Severny and tries to leave it later on, we're just going to completely obliterate them. They got so many early eliminations off the back of that play alone, Jason, that again shows to me that 77 have a great understanding of this lobby, how they react to circles, and they know how, especially, to abuse it in their favor to get easy eliminations here and there. So the late game was rough because they're in that dip next to shooting range. Leaving that spot is nigh impossible, especially when 4MV have such an insane split all around them. But it was definitely a good attempt this game to try and get in top 3 and a few eliminations here and there.
But just taking a look at the rest of the match rankings here. I mean, we do see what Team Liquid, like you mentioned, get 11 points. D Plus finally getting 9 points as well for themselves. They've been extremely quiet outside those 7 matches, as Max pointed out at the top of the show. And even Regnum Kari getting themselves 6 points.
Yeah, and the big loser on that match was going to be Thunder Talk, right? They ended up with their 0 points right after coming off a solid game. So things are getting interesting, guys. One thing that, you know, I always bring up, because it is very, very important, I think, is, you know, how these teams cannot depend on the last match of the day, right? I mean, there's going to be teams that know they're not going to make it, usually, right? But in this stage, it's going to be even worse because teams at the bottom of the leaderboards can still push their way up. 4MV are back in the mix right there. Look how many squads are in running for top 3. I mean, it's pretty much second all the way down to 5th place. When it comes down to 6th, 7th, and 8th, I mean, they need, to win almost every game after this if they want a chance. And that's it's not going to happen.
D plus Q are really pulling a mirror and Sage on. I hate this. Come on. We need to see them make it. What's happening? But yeah, as you said, Hodrix is definitely going to be currently the top 5 teams in the race for top 3. Maybe another team could jump up there, but they're going to need to win literally next match if they want to be in the race for that position. But where we really have to focus our attention here is going to be the second half of the rankings, and 77 finally make it out of the bottom 5.
Yeah, I think I said earlier, I don't know if it was quite enough to breach top 11. In fact, it was. And by 3 points, as you have Alliance, DRS. I mean, every team below them can still catch up to them. It's just getting very difficult right now for who we can say is going to be top 11. Because honestly, I don't know. It's going to come down to the last match for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal. Like we always say it, Jason, it's going to be down to the last game for the top 3 possibly, and also for the bottom 5, and see who's going to make into survival stage. So again, I'm happy to be here on the desk because I would not want to be these players. It must be rough to go in these games and you're like, it's all down to this match. Like a whole year's worth of work to try and get to PMGC down the drain. That must feel bad, man.
Dude, it's almost like that meme, dude. You see DRS, right? They just finally make it in. It's like, yes, yes. And in the last game, back down. No, no, no. Hopefully, they can make it to that top 11.
Well, we'll find out what's going to happen in the last half of the day here after a short break.
just like that. A blink of an eye, we have gone through 3 matches of the last day of Group Green. I'm joined by none other than Apex from 4MB. You guys were just able to finally make that push towards the top 3. What are you guys going to be doing or changing anything to make sure that you maintain that top 3?
Бид бол өнөөдрийн байдлаар тоглох арга хэмжээг бол ерөөсөө өөрчлөхгүй. Зүгээр бидэд аль болох аюулгүйг л харж тоглоно доо. Аль болох сейв тоглоно л гэсэн. Манайгийн хувьд бол ер нь багийнхандаа үргэлж итгэдэг болохоор ер нь өөрсдөндөө нэлээд итгэлтэй байна.
For today, we're not gonna change anything. We'll just like make sure we are safe enough and making the right decision in the right situation. And also, we believe ourselves. So like we are like pretty confident with for today.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Best of luck to you guys. Because that team, as I mentioned, they are currently in 3rd place. Now we're going to be mixing it up here. It's not just going to be one team. It's the final day. So let's have some fun with it, because I do want to talk to a team that is trying to make it to that survival stage. And it's none other than RRQ Nerfeco. Kind of along the lines, right? Except a little bit different. What are you guys going to be changing, if anything, or what are you guys going to be doing to make sure you actually make it to the survival stage?
Okay, jadi apa yang bakal diubah oleh RRQ sendiri untuk memastikan yang kalian itu bakal lolos ke babak survival stage?
Yang pasti yang pertama udah pasti itu strategi lah. Kita udah coba hari pertama, hari kedua strategi main agak face rotate dan center agak susah, dan di hari ketiga kemarin kita udah mulai dapet tempo, dan di hari terakhir ini kita mau maksimalin tempo yang udah kita punya itu.
Okay, so basically yes. First of all, we of course we're gonna change our strategy, and yes, if we take a recap back when we play on the first 2 days, we are struggled by playing fast and center on a center circle, and on the 3rd day we try to adapt and we try to change this tactic, and it worked for us. We gain the momentum from there, and yes, from today we just gonna bring the momentum followed by instruction from our coaches, and of course we try to ensure our survival stage.
Awesome. Well, hey, it wouldn't hurt to have another Indonesian team in survival stage. We saw what Void Donkey has been able to do so far with the changes they made. Let's see what RRQ and 4MB are going to be able to do in the last 3 matches of Group Green.
Ah, damn it. I was just about to say, it feels like it was weeks ago we last saw Seven do the air guitar on broadcast. But of course, he gets it in the last few strums in the last few seconds. But I can't believe we're into our final 3 matches of our normal group stage here, because we still have survival stage and, of course, last chance to come up next week. If I'm not mistaken, we also do add on an extra day of play, meaning we're going to be starting on Wednesday next week instead of Thursday. But yeah, interesting to hear as well from 4MV. I feel like there was something that wasn't said in the interview, though, about like, yeah, we talked to Doc and we're like, hey, play with us. And now they're having success. Get him that EpiPen.
His tunnel vision needs to be studied at this point. That first Erangel match really got me concerned, because you see him take so many unnecessary 1v1s. His whole team will be right there. If he's just able to slow it down a little bit and play with the squad, I mean, yeah, we can see it happen. And I'm glad it finally is happening right at the right time.
We know it's also happened at the right time. Our Infinix GT20. What wallpaper do we have today, Maxman?
Let's see.
It's Doc wallpaper time! Oh, let's go! MVP of the... Wait, focus. Oh, we turned off.
Nice.
No, wait, come back. There we go. Okay, continue. You may do the segment, Jason. I allow you.
Well, as you can see, Doc also agrees that Infinix GT20 Pro can make you play like a pro with 120 FPS. There you go. You got it like zoomed in perfectly, focused as well. And then we get your face and just ruins the whole thing. And 144 Hz AMOLED screen. It's okay, Maxman. Maybe one day we'll be able to play like Doc and have a hairline like Doc.
No, I'm not. It's not working out for me.
He says,
both of them
Turkey
actually.
is not that far away from France.
What did I do to you today? Gee, continue the segment, Jason.
We can go together. We can go together. Don't worry.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'll be your support.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, just like 4MV today, as they broke through into top 3. I don't know where we're going with this one, to be honest with you guys. But we still have 3 matches left to go. 1 Aaron Go followed up by 2 Miramar. Now we know the last game of the day, of course, is going to be won by Team Liquid, because it always seems to be, done really well by Team Liquid. But I'm curious about what we're going to see here in this final Erangel. Obviously, we've had a lot of northern zones. I'm feeling like a Milta zone in our last Erangel of the group.
I'm feeling we mix it up, bro. Let's go to shooting range.
Hot Jukes, I will fight you. I will fight you. You are not safe. You might be across the Atlantic. I will come for you, okay?
Dude, this is getting crazy.
No more northern circles, please. I've had enough. But to take the topic to like a little bit of a realistic note right now, you mentioned it earlier, Hot Jukes, that realistically for top 5 teams are looking the most capable of competing for that top 3 spot. Sure. I'm still looking at teams below. I'm looking at your Voin Donkey ID. I'm looking at your RCB. I'm looking at your Team Liquid. I'm looking also maybe to some extent to the Vicious and Stalwart. If they want to have a chance, and I really mean a slight chance to make it into top 3, they need to get chicken dinner right now. There's no ifs or buts about it. We need to see a win from one of those teams if they want to have just a single opportunity to go to the Grand Finals. Otherwise, if they lose now, they just got to make sure to secure their spot for the survival stage, Hot Jukes.
Yeah, it's getting really, really crazy here. So again, I talked to Knight, right? Look at that damage though. Holy goodness, bro. That is ridiculous. 10K damage from Doc. I would be shocked to not see this guy in the finals. I mean, with a performance like this, he's going to be just set up for success. And if he plays with this team, he'll have even more damage, right? But I will say this, talking to Knight, I gave him a question, okay? I said, let's say you're 10 points away from top 3, right? It's the last game. Would you guys have the grapes to hot drop or try to camp the 3rd place team's rotation, And he says the problem is that, we're good at Miramar in the last 2 maps, and it's not worth hot dropping. But if we need to make sure that we're going to get it done, right, we'd rather drop near the team and gatekeep. My question is, right now, dude, with how many points they are far away, it may be even worth considering doing it right now. What do you think, Max?
I don't think they should change their playstyle in Miramar. I think that their approach has been really solid. It's been consistent. Of course, as we saw, they wrapped up almost every day with a win over on Miramar, so they're doing really well on that front. So I would say ruining that with a possible hot drop where you're somewhat taking a 50-50, and even then, if you win the fight, you might still lose players, which your chances of a chicken dinner dwindle so quickly when that happens. So I kind of agree, Hot Jukes. I need to see a little bit of a different playstyle from, again, the teams I mentioned. I mentioned Team Liquid, Vicious, etc. That they need